Good evening and welcome. This is a public hearing of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the City of Evanston. The zoning ordinance directs this body to hear applications for major variations, special uses, and appeals from decisions of the zoning administrator. Depending on the type of matter, this board will either make a final determination or send its recommendation to City Council. Would you please call the roll?
Scott Gingold,
Here.
Mary McCauley,
Here.
Andrew Gallimore, Matt Rogers,
Here.
Mary Beth Burns,
Here.
Myrna Aravallo,
Here.
Violetta Cullen.
Present.
With 5 members present, we do have a quorum. Also present tonight are zoning planner Melissa Klotz and planning and zoning administrator Demir Latinovich. This is a formal hearing and there are rules that govern our proceedings. Most importantly, only one person speaks at a time, so all testimony may be accurately recorded. Anyone who wishes to address the board regarding any matter on the agenda will have the opportunity to do so at the appropriate time. Our procedure is to hear from staff on the documents on file and then receive testimony or other evidence from the applicant or appellant. Next, persons who wish to make a statement regarding the matter may do so at that time. Any person with a legal interest in property located within 500 feet of the subject property may present evidence, reasonably question witnesses, or seek a continuance of the hearing. When all supporting and opposing testimony and statements have been heard, the applicant or appellant will be given the opportunity for rebuttal or a closing statement. Then the board will close the record and begin deliberations. All testimony will be under oath. Although we do not apply the strict rules of evidence, please limit your testimony or statement to your personal knowledge. When you address the board, please state your name and address and sign in on the provided sheet. Our meetings are audio and video recorded. Please make sure that you are at a microphone when asking questions or making statements so that you can be properly recorded. All proceedings are subject to broadcast at a later date. Any matter not concluded at tonight's hearing will be continued to our next regularly scheduled meeting. We have only one item on the agenda this evening, which is the matter for 614 Dempster Street. Is the applicant present? Thank you. With that, we will move to the first item on our agenda, which is approval of the meeting minutes for November 3rd, 2015. Has everyone had an opportunity to read through those, and are there any edits or corrections? If not, is there a motion for approval?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of the meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I will note that any members who did not vote were not present at that meeting. We have no old business tonight, so the first matter on our agenda is 614 Dempster Street. Would you please read that into the record?
Derek DeLapp, lessee, applies for a special use permit for a commercial indoor recreation facility, North Shore Athletics, at 614 Dempster Street. 614 Dempster Street is located in the B2 Business District and the ODM Dempster Main Overlay District, which requires a special use permit for a commercial indoor recreation facility to operate, zoning code section 6933. The Zoning Board of Appeals makes a recommendation to City Council, the determining body for this case. Documents included as part of the record include special use application submitted October 21st, 2015, standards form, plat of survey, site plan, letters of support, image of property, aerial view of property, zoning map of property, and Dapper meeting minutes of October 28th, 2015.
Thank you. At this point, I would ask that anybody who may be speaking to us in regard to this matter be sworn by raising their right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout the course of these proceedings? Thank you. And if you would please come up and state your name and address for the record.
My home address?
Whichever address you would like to provide for us.
Okay, thank you. Well, my name is Derek DeLapp. I reside at 1806 Wesley Avenue in Evanston, Illinois.
You, and if you would please tell us about your proposal.
Okay, my proposal is to open up a small boutique group fitness training center at 614 Dempster Street. I think the best way to introduce my business model is to tell you a little bit about myself first. This summer I actually had my 30th year of being in the health and fitness industry. The last 18 years I have been in the industry full-time, but my original job was back in 1985 when I spent my first summer home from college. I came to New York City, a city my mother just moved to. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, that I'd never been to before. I'd been a fitness trainer in college throughout my sports career in high school, so I knew I tried to get a job at a local gym. I did. I was given classes such as hip and thigh, core, and body weight classes and stretch classes. You have to kind of picture me with feathered hair and tights back then, and women in Jane Fonda leggings. But the reason that I tell that is because even though it was a summer job, and I went on to graduate college and was in the field of communication management in New York for 12 years, I always kept a part-time job on the weekends or training friends in the fitness industry. The reason I did this is because I enjoyed the group atmosphere, I liked the connections I made with people, and the social aspect. Currently, currently I'm the owner of the Edgewater Athletic Club in Edgewater in Chicago. It's located at 1040 West Granville. I started the club on November 16th of 2002, so we just celebrated our 13th anniversary. I'm very supportive of the neighborhood. I've grown with the neighborhood and expanded 2 times. Before that, I ran my own fitness business as a personal trainer and group trainer for 5 years. Edgewater Athletic has been a staple of the community, again, for 12 years. We've had 8 other gyms open up in the neighborhood since I've opened, and we're still going strong. We've won several awards, such as Best New Business, Best Interior Renovation, Best Customer Service, voted on from the Edgewater Chamber of Commerce, which I am also a board member of, and recently both Time Out and Chicago magazines ranked us as one of the top 20 gyms in Chicago, which brings me to 614 Dempster. I moved to Evanston 3 years ago. I love Evanston. I moved up here because I got married and had 2 kids. And I've been looking for a small place where I can get back to what I like doing best. Instead of running a large gym of 1,000 members that I have now, I'd like to get back to my roots and do classes and small group training. I find that very self-fulfilling, and I enjoy that the atmosphere. 614 Dempster is a high visibility building. The building is fairly isolated. I'll go into that in a minute. Isolated as in terms of it's a standalone building. And the reason I want to open this club is basically I feel that members want to feel like they're part of something. People that come to a health club, to a gym, to a training facility, they want to be part of a team. Fitness is a social aspect. The simple concept of North Shore Athletics would be to deliver daily fitness needs through small group classes. We would pay attention to detail, basically customer service combined with fitness. The idea is to create a friendly, supportive atmosphere within each class that incites group bonding, encouragement, and teamwork. What I've found through my 30 years of working in the business, that it's all about building a connection. You build a connection with your members, and you build a business. The goal is to start very small and simple, basically building on what types of classes work well in the environment and attracts members, and act accordingly and expand on those classes. Basically, it would be an a la carte menu featuring a selection of premium fitness classes and programs. The goal is to offer options. Again, find out what works with the right clientele, what works at the right times, and build a constant flow of varied fitness options. The unique thing of this, it would be a mixture of classes, but the same classes running at the same time every day. Unlike a large gym, when you might have your favorite class once or twice a week, this one you can come at your leisure and you know it's going to be there every day. We're looking to start with basically 6 classes per day, averaging at the beginning probably 4 to 6 people per class. Eventually we would like to, with our most popular classes, probably go up to 12 people at a class, which we would cap our classes at. The reason is it's very personal interaction. There's close coaching review of technique and so forth to make sure it's very safe. We would have a variety of classes, which would, examples being, but they're not limited to, basically our main class would be the daily circuit, which would be a class that would be held 3 to 4 times daily. It's a multiple station class, which focuses on the 4 S's basically, which would be stretching, strength, stability, and stamina. It's a general exercise class, kind of like gym class in high school, if you like gym class. It's a bunch of people working together, doing the same movements for their physical well-being, but working at individual skill levels depending on age, experience, and so forth. We would focus on personalized instruction and observation. So basically we'd be making improvements and changes during and after class. The class would consist of a basic 10-minute warm-up, technique overview, a 30-minute workout, and a 5-minute cool down and review. In addition to this class, we would have stretch and sculpt classes, which are basically using bands and light weights, which are isolating muscle patterns, stability and mobility classes, which are movement and basic form orientation, what they call suspension training, which is a common word for it is TRX. It's the yellow bands you see in gyms, which are anti-gravity, which you work with body weight. Yoga fusion and yoga elements. We would like to add a few yoga classes into the mix. Also working with some seniors. We have ideas of possibly having silver yogi senior class. My father actually does work for me part-time. He's the second oldest Bikram yoga instructor in the country and does regular yoga as well. And also core essentials, which is basically core work. We would like to, for initially, we're looking at class times of 6:15 a.m. to 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. to 8:45 a.m., noon to 12:45 p.m., 4:30 to 5:15 p.m., 5:45 to 6:30 p.m., and 7 o'clock to 7:45 p.m. So basically 45-minute increments in classes, half an hour breaks in between. Off-hour times when we wouldn't have these classes, we would use for specialized group classes. We would hope through word of mouth, interacting with the neighborhood. I'm a member of several neighborhood groups and basically email groups that we could put together specialty youth classes, specialty team classes, private groups, private clubs come in and say, hey, we're looking to do this or that, and put together an 8-week class for them, just so to speak. Senior programs and nutritional seminars. Again, this is looking down the road, but what we would like to develop the club into be. Basically, I know some of the issues when I came to the first DBA meeting was noise and so forth, and being a nuisance in the neighborhood. One of the great things about 614 Dempster, it is a standalone building. It has brick walls with studs and also with drywall, which allows for 14 inches of space on the building. On the west side, we are bordered literally right next to the train tracks. I know that our landlord for the previous tenant had to put in a concrete sublevel to keep the building from shaking, so we're actually worried more about the train disturbing us than anything else. If there won't be any dropping of weights. Again, I addressed this in the DBA meeting. Unless the member's in an unsafe position, it's the only option. The entire floor surface area would be covered with 1-inch thick mats, and anytime we did use weights, they would be rubber weights. We're looking to gain basically 10 to 12 people monthly. That's our goal. Our goal would like to be open by January, if at all possible. That's why I'm applying for the special use. Well, one of the reasons in trying to move it through quickly, obviously, since January is a big time of year, winter time for people joining the fitness club. We need about 60 members to be profitable, and I think we could accomplish that actually in the first 3 months. And after that, sustain consistent membership of 10 to 12 extra a month. Our total goal membership is 125 to 130 members. Our marketing would basically be word of mouth, our location, the internet, Facebook, local flyers, and talking to local businesses and people who live in the neighborhood. We find there's ample street parking. We're we are in Sherman, Dempster, on Chicago and neighborhood streets. There's also a garage on Chicago. And that's basically what I would like to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. How many employees do you anticipate having at any one time?
At any one, for instruction, one employee instructing at any one time.
Okay.
We're looking basically to have 2 full-time employees, and depending on the classes, maybe 2 to 3, maybe 4 independent instructors, which I know a variety of that I know that are very skilled.
And do you have any parking that comes with your lease for
Yes,
employees to park?
Actually, yes. On the, I forgot to mention that. On the west side of the building, we have the train tracks. On the east side of the building, we have a parking alley, which is partially dedicated to us. It separates us from the next row of buildings. And there are 4 spots there if everybody parks as our landlord says they should, but what we found is about 3 spots parking there.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? I wasn't entirely sure. It says it's a 2,000 square foot standalone building, but all of the plans show a rear tenant, and currently there is no rear tenant?
Correct, yes.
Not that it would necessarily be your problem, it would be Ted Mavrakis' problem if someone wanted to move in there and they found a disturbance. But the backspace, would you anticipate maybe expanding into it?
Technically, the backspace right behind us is
Right.
actually Mr. Mavrakis' storage area
Okay.
for his restaurants. Above that space, which is actually the second level, which is a level above us,
Right.
is the unoccupied office. So it would depend. I mean, it's not something we're looking into now. I think
Right.
with the noise of the train, that's one of the reasons the office is unoccupied. And if you can see from the plans as well, between where we would have our main workout area, there's a 1 brick wall, and then there's a space where we'd have a changing area and the
Right.
bathroom, and then there's another brick wall. So
Okay.
again, you know, I would love to do more, but
Yeah.
let's take it step by step. Yeah.
So that front space is how many square feet?
2,000 is roughly like 1,960 square feet.
Oh, so the front space is 2,000, and then the rear space is
Yeah, I
is
think
in
the whole
addition to
building-
that?
Yes, I think the whole space altogether is a little bit under 6,000.
Okay,
We're only taking over a third of the building.
got it. All right, thanks.
You would, sorry, just so I understood the employee situation, you would have 2 full-time employees plus 1 instructor on site at a time. So
Oh,
3.
no. Basically, there would only be 1 instructor on site at all times. There'd be 2 full-time employees, myself and another employee, who would, run the software system, make sure memberships and so forth are accordingly, but there'd be 1 instructor per class.
Right. So staff, instructor plus 2 full-time employees is 3 people working for the facility at one time on site.
Yeah, but we would not all be on site at one time.
Okay.
At the most, there'd be 1 instructor and 1 of the full-time people.
So the 3 spaces that you have dedicated to the building behind are enough to accommodate your needs at any one time?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other full-time employee besides myself, we're both within walking or biking distance. I plan on walking most days to the club.
And you mentioned the 6 class times. Would the gym theoretically be open hours other than, or would you need or want to be open for hours other than when the class times you listed are?
Yes, we would just for, again, there is possibility for us to have individual one-on-one training to take members that have gone through a class that we've seen need more work and give them more specialized work. And those extra times, there is a lot of dead time, especially between 12:45 and 4:30. Again, the specialty classes that I mentioned, the 6 classes will be to begin with, but if we found, a need or a want for any kind of specialty classes, those would be the times that we would try to work those in.
So you wouldn't be open past what time?
We are planning on being closed by, I believe, 9 o'clock is the time I asked to be closed by.
Okay.
Open at 6 o'clock, only because a lot of people, it's basically, except for the people that live in the neighborhood or work in the neighborhood, they could take a lunch break or come in the afternoon. Most gym and training businesses is before and after work.
Right.
I believe the coffee shop across the street from us is open at 6, so that would work nicely.
It's true, it is.
Are you planning any changes to the exterior?
No.
Rats.
You don't like the glass up front?
Are you planning on any, like, smoothie or food service or
Not at
nothing
all.
like that?
Nothing like that, no.
You're not selling any stuff of any sort?
If anything, we would sell like canned drinks like Gatorade or so forth.
Okay.
But that's not in the plans right now.
Okay.
This is a question maybe for staff. I noticed in the DAPR discussion, sprinklers and water facilities were raised. Is that anything we need to be concerned about, since that's one of my standards?
It is something that's required by the building code. I believe the applicant can provide an update on that.
Yes, my architect and I, we have applied for a variance of the code. We've gotten these 3 sprinkler bids and have submitted them with Chief Kleber, I believe, and he's reviewing them as we speak.
Okay. Are there any additional questions for the applicant? If not, is there anybody else here who wishes to speak to us? Seeing no one, I will ask Mr. Delap if there's anything you'd like to say in summation before we close the record and begin deliberation.
No, just I hope that my background and my letter of recommendation show that, you know, I am a responsible business owner. This isn't my first rodeo. I know how to build a business from the ground, and you know, I really enjoy this city, and I like to have a little more of a part of it, to be more involved. So I appreciate your time.
You may go.
Okay, thank you very much.
We'll close the record at this time and begin our deliberation. Any general comments from anyone before I go through the standards? If not, this is a recommendation to City Council for a special use, and we have 9 standards that we must find are met before we can make a positive recommendation. The first one of those is that it is one of the special uses specifically listed in the zoning ordinance. And in looking in the B2 business district, we do find that a commercial indoor recreation facility is one of the approved uses, so that standard is met. Number 2, it is in keeping with the purposes and policies of the adopted comprehensive general plan and the zoning ordinance as amended from time to time. In looking at our zoning ordinance and the things that it looks for, we are to promote growth, redevelop businesses, make sure that our commercial areas are well developed with a wide plethora of types of businesses. And so this one fits within that, and also will help strengthen the city's economic base. So that standard also is met. Number 3, it will not cause a negative cumulative effect when its effect is considered in conjunction with the cumulative effect of various special uses of all types on the immediate neighborhood. We have heard no testimony that would lead me to believe that this would do anything but provide a positive impact into this neighborhood. Obviously, the business that was in there before was a very different type of business, and but the fact that we would want to have a business that's a viable business in this space and would draw people into it from Evanston and other areas can only mean that it will be a positive impact on this particular neighborhood, so that standard has been met. Number 4, it does not interfere with or diminish the value of property in the neighborhood. The fact, again, that this is a storefront which is being revitalized would go toward making sure that property values are maintained in the neighborhood by having functioning businesses that are providing economic prosperity to the neighborhood, as well as just keeping a busy storefront and bringing people to that area. So I believe that standard is also met. Number 5, it can be adequately served by public facilities and services. This was the particular question I asked in regard to sprinklers. It sounds like the applicant is working with the necessary city departments to make sure that either that standard is met or they receive some sort of a waiver from that standard. So I believe that that standard is met as well. Number 6, it does not cause undue traffic congestion. This is on some of our major streets. Chicago is nearby. Dempster is a major street, as well as having CTA nearby. So I do not believe that there will be any undue traffic congestion. Number 7, it preserves significant historical and architectural resources. The applicant has stated that he does not plan to make any changes to the outside of the building, much to the chagrin to one of our board members. So I don't believe that this will have any change on the building itself. And to my knowledge, this building has no significance historically or architecturally. Number 8, it preserves significant natural and environmental features. Again, since the exterior of the building will not be being changed, the footprint will not be being increased, I do not see any reason to believe that this standard would not be met. So number 8 also is met. And number 9, it complies with all applicable regulations of the district in which it is located and other applicable ordinances. This being a business, there will be licenses that will be required by the applicant that are beyond the purview of this board. But since he already has an existing business in Chicago, I have no reason to believe that he would not be familiar with those types of operations and what he would need to do to run a business. So standard number 9 is met. Is everyone in agreement with my finding on standards?
Yep.
Yes.
With that, is there a motion?
I move in the matter 15 ZMJV-0096 with regard to 614 Dempster Street that we recommend that City Council grant the special use requested on the following conditions: that the hours of operation be limited from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, that employees be required to utilize the building dedicated parking to the east of the building, and that the property otherwise be developed in substantial compliance with the documents and testimony submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of recommending approval to City Council, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? With 5 votes in favor and 0 against, it will move forward to City Council with a positive recommendation, and staff can work with you to let you know when you'll appear before council. Good luck with your project. That is the only matter that we had before us tonight. Is there any other matter to bring before the board?
I'll be emailing all of you a draft of the 2016 schedule in the next week or two so that you can take a look at it, compare it with your schedule, and hopefully we can approve it at our next meeting, if not the one after that.
Thank you. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned until our next meeting, which will be
December 1st.
December 1st. Thank you.